Hello everyone and welcome to my 20th episode. My name is Quinn Noble and today we are going to be talking about the games that I played in 2021. So sit back, relax, and let's jump into it. I've played a number of games in 2021. Some of my favorite titles that I'm addicted to have no end game in sight. These include games like NBA 2K20, where you can play an NBA player's entire career. I haven't even made it through one season of 82 games yet, and that is only one of the game modes. There is also Fallout 76, where they keep adding content in the form of seasons. I have spent countless hours decking out my settlement with cool stuff. Earlier this year, we were gifted a new update that lets us build vaults, and we are able to build a second settlement. I've also been really getting into the Pinball FX3 series. I currently own 82 out of the 99 tables they have available, so I have participated in many of their weekly tournaments and am currently in the Gold 1 tier. I am still playing Pokemon Go almost daily and probably will be until I catch them all. Just kidding. I gave up on that years ago, and Nintendo has been adding a slew of new Pokemon to make it even more or less likely. The Tetris Effect had a nice update giving us a new connected mode. Not only can you play Tetris with your closest friends, but this update made the game cross-platform. Here you can see me playing with someone on Xbox and PC while I am playing on the PS4. It's 3 versus 1 in this mode, and if you are on the team of 3, you work together getting lines until your meter is filled and the playing field comes together so you can attack the team of 1. This update sure did give me a reason to pick this title back up off the shelf and play it some more. I also enjoyed playing Super Mario Bros. 35 on the Switch, which was very similar to Tetris 99. This was a release last year for the 35th anniversary of Super Mario Bros., and I played it pretty hard trying to collect all the unlockables. Sadly, they removed it from the Nintendo Online shop in April of this year. Those were some of my favorite video games to play in 2021, but I wanted this video to be about the games that I beat in 2021. Not every game is easy to master, especially some of the retro games that I played this year. Some of them required me to cheat a little bit, which I'm not exactly proud of, but I consider it a stepping stone to becoming better at these games in the future. There are 3 games in particular, and I've been playing them for almost 30 years. The first one is Contra for the Nintendo Entertainment System. The first cheat code that I ever learned was the Konami code. If you press up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, and start at the beginning of the game before the title appears, you will start with 30 lives instead of 3. It's definitely possible to beat the game in 3 lives, but I never had the patience for it. That is a challenge I may be up to in the future. Contra is an NES classic, and if you have never played it, I highly recommend it. I played it solo, but it is much more fun with a friend. There is a Contra collection available in the eShops for the Nintendo Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. The next game I beat by cheating was Sega Age's release of Shinobi for the Nintendo Switch. When I was a kid growing up in Tampa, Florida, there was a magical restaurant called Papa Louie's Pizza. In the back of Papa Louie's, there was an arcade loaded with about 15 arcade games and a cigarette vending machine. This was the first arcade I ever knew of. It doesn't exist anymore, but I can still remember that smell of fresh pizza and stale cigarette smoke vividly. The first game I ever dropped a quarter into was Shinobi, and man, this game was hard. I could always get about 10 stages in before I started losing my money, but with the rewind feature on the Sega Ages version, I was finally able to get through Shinobi. Without the rewind feature, this game is damn near impossible. Moving on to the last game I cheated on, and that game is Castlevania for the Nintendo Entertainment System. I always wanted to beat this game, and even with the help of the Game Genie, this game was still really tough. I used two cheats. The first is unlimited lives, and the second is to keep your weapon when you die. Even with these two codes, it took me over 3 hours to beat. I probably spent about 2 hours just trying to beat the final boss, Dracula. With my cousin John and my buddy Will cheering me on via Twitch, I finally got that jerk Dracula, and even though I cheated, this was one of my more satisfying wins of the year.
We're doing it! We're doing it! We're doing it! I just beat Castlevania for the first time in my life.
I have a very long list of arcade beat-em-ups that I've been wanting to play lately. In 2021, I got to play through two of them that I used to play when I was younger. The first one needs no introduction. This is the, dare I say, legendary beat-em-up, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I do realize I pretty much have branded myself a Konami fanboy at this point. This is the third game by them that I have featured in this video, and what can I say? They knew how to make a great game in the 90s. This one featured up to 4 players, each one controlling one of our heroes in a half shell. Here I am playing by myself because I have no friends. Just kidding, I have 122 subscribers that I love and appreciate very much. Anyway, when I was 9 years old, this gem came out and it looked so smooth I thought I was controlling the cartoon. I feel like every arcade had the volume up on this cabinet cranked up as loud as it could go to draw attention to us kids. The first time I beat it was at a skating rink called the United Skates of America. I was there for someone's birthday party. I don't remember whose birthday party it was. That part of the story isn't important. What is important is that I had enough of my closest friends and we had enough quarters to get to the end and beat Shredder. Those friends were not important either, but what is important is that for a glimmer of my childhood, this game made me feel like a superhero. I mean, we used the word cowabunga like it was going out of style, and indeed it was. The other beat-em-up that I revisited was Spider-Man the video game. This game was very similar to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game. There can be up to 4 players and each one controls one of 4 superheroes. You can be Hawkeye, Black Cat, Namor the Submariner, or probably the most popular choice, Spider-Man. Each character has their own special power you can activate by mashing both buttons together. What separates Spider-Man the video game from other beat-em-ups is how it transformed into a side-scrolling platformer in each level. This game was released by Sega in 1991, and what a year that was, because that same year, they released a little game you may have heard of called Sonic the Hedgehog. If you'd like to know more about Spider-Man the video game, I made a video about it. I will leave a card to that right here. Online and retro games aren't the only titles I played in 2021. Here are some other genres that I tried my hand at. Lo-Fi Ping Pong is a rhythm game for the Nintendo Switch. The concept is very simple. You use the A, B, and Y buttons to correspond to a section of the ping pong table, and you mash the appropriate button to the beat. I would come home from work and just get lost in all the ambient beats Lo-Fi Ping Pong has to offer. It can be a mindless game at times, but it also got the best of me as the game progressed. This game is short, but it does come with a save feature. There are 15 levels total, and I beat them over the course of about 3 nights. Risk of Rain is a game I purchased from Limited Run Games. This is an action platformer with roguelike elements. I first played this game a couple of times and died within the first couple of minutes. I didn't really understand what I was supposed to do. I watched someone on Twitch play it for a little bit and became fascinated with it. It's all about collecting things and leveling up your character. Time is also a factor as everything gets more difficult the longer you take. It became addicting to try and get farther and farther down the Risk of Rain rabbit hole. I felt rewarded every time I got just a little bit further. There is also an online multiplayer option that I tried with my buddy Frank, but it came with some glitches and we were separated several times. Eventually I made my way through all the terrains the game had to offer, making this the first roguelike game I have ever beat. Risk of Rain was definitely one of my favorite games I played in 2021. I tried not to neglect my PSVR either. I beat a game called Pixel Grip 1989. This is a virtual reality love letter to retro games of the 80s and 90s. There are all kinds of nods to cult classic retro games like Zelda, Golden Axe, Ghouls and Ghosts, and even Battletoads. You play a young girl named Dot who is chosen to save the world, so to speak. Dot has to play a handheld system while not getting caught by her teacher. It's a very clever game and an enjoyable VR experience. The ending sets you up for its sequel, Pixel Rip 1995, which released in 2020. That might be a game I need to play in 2022. This game is called Gundemoniums. Lately I've been getting into shoot-em-ups, or shmups as the cool kids are calling them these days. Gundemoniums is considered a cute-em-up with its cartoon-looking characters. Originally a Japanese PC game released in 2003, Gundemoniums is a side-scrolling bullet hell shooter that has a focus on navigating mazes created by curtain fire. I died several times while playing this game. Lucky for me, there are unlimited continues. "2021 was the year that I decided to get really into speedrunning. The more I watched others speedrun, the more I wanted to try myself. It's like being behind one of your friends when you're younger and watching them play and being like, hey, let me get a try. In 2021, I was able to qualify in 6 different categories across 4 different games. The first was PC Genjin for the PC Engine. Try saying that 3 times fast. This year was the first time I beat PC Genjin, but I have beaten the version in the States known as Bonk's Adventure several times. When I was younger, I begged my parents for a TurboGrafx 16 just so I could play this game. This game seemed like an easy one to qualify for a speedrun, and all the feels came back as I ran through it a few times. I was able to get my time down to around the 45-minute mark, and that earned me 11th place on a short list of 12. You gotta start somewhere, I guess.
"45 minutes, 24 seconds.
Chippendale Rescue Rangers is a game that I placed in already. This year, I was able to beat my old time. I posted my entire run on YouTube and added some commentary complete with some backstory and strategies to the game. It made for one of my higher viewed videos, and I hope to make more like it. It seems like something speedrunners aren't doing, and it makes me feel like a pioneer of sorts. At the filming of this video, I am ranked 323rd with a time of 12 minutes and 53 seconds. Speaking of Disney games by Capcom, I also ran The Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse. The object of this game is to rescue your dog Pluto from the clutches of Pete and his minions. This game borrows elements from games like Mega Man, as there are different outfits you can collect for Mickey, each giving him a special power. This might look like a kid's game, but there is a degree of difficulty. I ran it on easy and placed 46th with a time around 24 minutes. I decided to run it on normal after that and placed much higher at 18th place with a time of 28 minutes and 7 seconds.
28:07 on normal. Not bad, not bad.
Saving the best for last, and that is one of my favorite games of all time, Mega Man. Mega Man is one of those games I always had to cheat on. When I say this, I mean using the glitch where you hit the select button to get some extra damage on the enemies. Especially the rock monster, also known as the Yellow Devil. I thought that if I wanted to place in Mega Man, the only runs they would accept were glitchless runs. I grinded through the game one night and beat it without the glitch for the first time in my life. I thought to myself, maybe I can place in Mega Man. I ran the game a few more times and got a time of 41 minutes and 39 seconds. I submitted the run and placed 45th on speedrun.com. After watching a few runs better than mine, I realized these speedrunners were using the glitch. It turns out there are two categories of runs. I submitted the same run and placed 17th in the world for a glitchless run. This speedrunning achievement is by far the one I am most proud of. Looking back on 2021, I really put game hunting on hold and instead put time aside to actually play my games. I have a lot to be proud of. My speedrunning profile looks much better than it did in 2020, and it makes me wonder what 2022 has in store. What games did you play in 2021? Did you surpass any achievements that you were overly proud of? Let me know down in the comments section. I hope you enjoyed this episode, as I had a lot of fun looking back on the games I played this year. My name is Quinn Noble, and if you keep watching them, I'll keep making them. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.